Welcome to the judging video for the latest weekly dream car competition here at BOTB. You can view last week's result and the winner being surprised on our website, botb.com. We'll now hand over to this week's lawyer from Onside Law to oversee the judging process.
My name is Alex Brooks from Onside Law and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has already been sent to the auditing company as is. I would now like today's judges to introduce themselves and, using the secure link provided, mark on the screen where they think the centre of the ball should be. The group will then come to a final panel decision.
Good morning, my name is Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and footballer and I last played yesterday.
My name is Chloe Morgan and I'm a goalkeeper for Crystal Palace Women.
I'm Nigel Hicks. I've been a Supply League match official for the best part of 30 years and I'm an experienced football administrator.
Good morning, my name is Alain Goma. I'm an ex-professional footballer, having played for Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle and Fulham.
Good morning, my name's Hugh Gilroy. I'm a referee, a mentor, tutor and observer.
Hi, my name is Matthew Ray. I've affiliated in multiple counties across England, currently in Gloucestershire, and I've refereed from grassroots through to professional academies.
Hi, my name is Aaron Mendonca. I've been involved in football for over 30 years, firstly as a player and then as a referee.
Good morning, my name's Roger Wheeler. I'm a referee and I have been refereeing and lining for more than 30 years.
Good morning, my name's Peter Georgia and I'm a football and futsal referee.
Hi, my name is Kieran Fitzgibbon. I've played football for more than 30 years and I'm now a senior county referee.
Judges, please now come to a final panel decision. For your reference, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 10 individual selections.
Thank you very much, Alex. Good morning, everybody.
Morning,
Matt.
Morning, Matt.
On this lovely day. Right, so we have 3 players in shot, 2 are static, although, you know, the player in yellow at the front's got his arms up. I think he's sort of mouth open. I think he's waiting for the ball to drop. And there's a player behind him, again, looking up with 2 good eyes at the ball. Seems to have his arms sort of around the back to interfere with the player in yellow. The other player in the foreground, this player has got his arms up, his hands are clenched, his eyes are closed. And I've looked at this and what I've thought is he just sort of coming in and has probably played the ball, to my mind, because his eyes are closed, to interfere with the ball dropping down into the 2 players behind. But I'll draw some lines up. We've got a fairly big spread up from these 2 players, with Chloe is furthest out here. And we've got Peter's just to the right here. So that's quite a big spread. And I'll take a different color from this guy. Again, we've got 2 good eyes. And as I said, we said before, although this player's, you know, obviously attempting to play or has played the ball as I've thought, that his eyes are really closed. So I'm not going to draw any eyes up from him. It's more of a body language thing, the way his body's twisted and things. And I'll ask you all about that. So Alain, I'll come to you first. You're smack in the middle of everybody here. How have you seen what's going on in the picture and your thoughts?
Yeah, Matt, thank you. No, I think as you mentioned, the player on the left of the screen is on in the foreground. And I think it looks to me that he's the ball is dropping towards the 2 players on the right and he's trying to intercept the ball. I think he played the ball looking at his facial expression. He's got his eyes closed. And I think, you know, the ball has been played already. I went in line with his, as you mentioned, you can't see his eyes really. So I went in line with his nose, basically.
Yeah.
For this direction. And with regards to the two players on the right, I think they were looking quite steeply. So basically, I went for the eye line, and where these two eye lines plus the direction of the nose of the player in the front goes. This is where I put the center of the ball, basically.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Alain. So Chloe, I'll come to you next. I highlighted you're quite a way out to the left here. How did you see this and what you thought was happening?
I interpreted it slightly differently in that I thought the ball was actually coming in from his right-hand side, just about to drop in imminently for a header. So that's why my cross is slightly over to sort of the left of the picture, because I think he still hasn't headed the ball. It's literally just about to hit him. Obviously, he's jumped up, his eyes are closed, hands clenched, just vying for the header. And then I took the eye lines of mainly the red and the yellow player in the background that seemed to be looking slightly across the picture over to the left hand side.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And Hugh, I'll come to you as well. You're just here to the left in between the main sort of cluster and Chloe's. How did you see that? I'll put the magnifier over the top of your choice.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I've got to say, similar to Chloe, for me, I felt it was dropping in from the player's right-hand side. And I was trying to work out for me whether he was about to play it or just played it based on kind of the arms and thinking, well, if you tensed your arms, you wouldn't have that if you were dropping down already. So I think he may be about to play it, hasn't played it yet. Because I think if you had headed it, would your arms still be tensed? But it's either way, it's very, very close to him for me because of the fact his eyes are shut. So yeah, that's how I've seen it.
Okay, great. Thank you. And now before I come to Kieran, I'll come to you first. You're just here, and I'd like to hear your thoughts before I draw some further lines in. I'm magnifying yours here.
Yeah,
sort of the beginning of this main cluster.
Yes, thanks, Matt. I think it's mainly been said the player is in the foreground with his eyes closed is clearly going to be either heading the ball or just headed the ball. To my mind, I think he may be just about to head the ball, but it's so close to him. When your eyes are that closed, then the ball is going to be imminently there. I've taken the eye lines from the other two players just to judge where I think the ball is. I think it's right that he's leaning across to play the ball from his going towards his left. But I think looking at the head shape, I think the ball is just, he hasn't twisted his head left or right. Therefore, I think it's directly above his head.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now, before I progress, I'm going to undo some lines and I'm going to redraw them, excluding Hugh and Chloe's. And the reason being, I think we've got a very tight line up from the player or this player's body position. And we've got quite a nice tight view from these four players coming into the ball. I appreciate the ball is going to be slightly in the foreground. So if I remove Chloe's and Hugh's, it brings us into the center here. And I'll do as has been said, if we take a position from the forehead up through this area here, it encompasses us all apart from Peter's popping out the top slightly. So Peter, I'll come to you, highlighting yours there. How did you see what was happening and your interpretation of the shot, please?
Yeah, my interpretation was that he's headed the ball and it sort of flicked off. Shall I say flicked off? The direction it's gone is not directly up, but he's glanced it across, and I just felt that the player behind the yellow player in the red and white, I took as he's looking not as down, rather up.
So he's looking more steeply, basically.
More steeply, and even though he's that much further, I just thought he was just looking that more steeply. And the player in yellow gave me I thought he was slightly, even though I thought his eyes were slightly, as you look at the picture, over to the right. So
yeah,
looking up. So yeah.
Thank you. And now, Roger, you're just next to Peter here. I'll highlight yours. How did you see this photo?
Yeah, very similar to Peter. I thought the ball was sort of dropping towards the two on the ground. The red player leaping had got in ahead of them, had just headed the ball and it glanced off. But the two on the ground are both looking quite steeply, and I think we seem to all have the yellow player pretty much where he's looking. It's just a question of the red player on the ground. But yeah, it's a pretty sort of steepish angle. So
Yeah.
I've really taken the eyes from the two on the ground, as we've all done.
Yeah, thank you. And Ari, I'll come to you next. You're just here, very central to all the choices. How have you seen the photo?
Yes, thank you. I felt that the player in up front in the picture, the one is already in the air, is about to head the ball. I don't feel that he just did it. Mainly because of his body language and he has his fist clenched, and I felt when you head the ball, he would definitely release the tension in his body language, and then the eye lines. I agreed with all that has been said. The players in the back, they have a clear view. My position is very close to everyone over there.
Yeah, thank you very much. Matthew, I'll highlight yours again. You're ever so slightly lower than everybody else. I'll magnify yours and then put the highlighter on. So that would suggest you think that the player in red at the front's imminently just about to head it or has headed it. Is that correct?
I think he's just about to head it.
Yeah.
For me, his eyes are closed, so the ball must be close. My strategy actually with this was to look at the two players where I can see their eyes first, before I looked at the player with his eyes closed. And I think that the player in red at the back is just looking that bit lower.
Yeah.
I don't think he's looking as steeply. And then I've placed my cross and then looked at the player with his eyes closed and thought, does it make sense in the context that he would just be about to head that ball? And that's how I've played this one. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. And lastly, Nigel, you're just to the right here as I'm highlighting that, magnifying yours now. What is your thoughts on this?
A lot of it's already been said, as you'd expect. I mean, I think we're split between whether has he just headed it or is he about to. For me, before I listened to my colleagues, I felt he had just headed it, and the ball was just moving away from him. I felt he jumped across the two on the ground who were waiting for it. So he's in the air; those two are planted. And I think with the eye lines that we've got here that we can see, for me, it created the sort of picture you've got here where there's a diamond shaped area. And the ball could be pretty much anywhere in there. So I just tried to get my cross in the middle of where I thought that was. So
yeah,
it often players are really focused on a spot on the ball, and it means we can almost get a cross reference of lines. But this is more a group area. I think for me.
No, sure. I mean, it's been said the two players in the back are very focused on the ball, and I think Peter said the ball's dropping in, so they're waiting.
Yeah.
And there is a slight on the panel. There's a slight. There's a bigger group thinking that the player in red at the front's just flicked it on or headed it, but ever so slightly. There's a couple of people who sort of either or. So what I want to vote on is just really basically whether we keep Peters in at the top here. See, it just brings it a little tighter into the cluster. I would tend to suggest that we should keep Peter in, principally because we've got 4 and 4 on either side of this cross, and I think some people have said that the ball, the player's looking a bit steeper. Obviously, the ball's in the foreground a bit, so if you were to twist this selection, but I would like to ask you all, Chloe, whether you'd keep Peter in or remove him, and then bring this choice here within everybody's compassing. And if I put Peter back in again, he just literally just popping out the top. But as I said, it brings it in the middle of the 8 choices left.
I would be minded to keep Peter in. I think it's still a legitimate choice, and I think even when you do place the ball over the cross as it is now, it still partly covers Peter's choice as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nigel?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah.
Great, lovely. Alain?
Yeah, and I think Peter's position is credible, and also it balances with Matt's position, which is slightly on the opposite. So yeah, I would keep him in. Yeah,
totally agree with you. Hugh?
Yeah, agree. Leave it in.
Yeah, great. Matthew?
Yeah, while I think it would be better slightly down to the left, closer to mine, I think actually given precedent and given the group, I think it's better to keep Peter in.
Great, thank you. Harry?
Yeah, keep in, please.
Yeah, great, thank you. Roger?
Yes, I would definitely keep Peter in.
Yeah, Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And lastly, Kieran?
Yeah, I'll make it unanimous.
Okay, lovely. Well, thank you very much indeed. So, Alex, after a good debate, we've decided to leave the choice as it is here with Hugh and Chloe's removed. They're a little bit further out to the left. And we'll judge at this average.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. On that basis, please click submit. Thank you very much, judges. The coordinates selected are 2288854. These coordinates will now be passed to the auditing company ASITS to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.